How's it going, everybody? This is DJ Flip, and I'm here to contribute more to the practice and enjoy segments that Brian and Jonathan have already been doing. And today I would like to talk to you about the gear that I'm using at this moment, right now, the ever-famous CDJ-1000 digital turntables. Now I'd just like to talk to you about the differences between the two players. Okay, right here we have the original CDJ-1000 Mark I, and over here is the MK3. Now there are very different similarities to each player. Basically, both virtually function the same way, but they just changed and improved a couple of different things on here. Now, what was so unique about the original Mark I was, in my opinion, I thought the wave displays were just a little bit more defined on here. And what I found unique about this player was the fact that if you notice over to the left-hand side of the screen, it has a zoom feature on there, where if you hold the display button down a couple seconds, you can actually zoom into the wave file and scroll using the wave search zoom buttons, and scroll right or left into the wave file, so you can search ahead of time where your breaks would be, where the valleys of the song would be. So that's one feature that I liked a lot about the Mark I. Now over in the MK3, they have replaced those zoom buttons with MP3 folder search file. Yes, if you hadn't known that already, MK3 model does play MP3 CDs. So once you put your MP3 file data disk into the player, you can actually search your folder through here. I don't have an MP3 CD in here, but that's what this function would do. It would search all your MP3 files in here. Back to the Mark I. Everything else is virtually the same here. If you notice, the screens, they improved the brightness on the LED screens of the player. So here, I mean, it's bright enough. You can tell what the track is. You can see the time on the track. You can see the wave. You can see everything. All they did was just brighten it up a little bit, like that. Now let's move on to something a little bit bigger here. Let's move on to the Platter, actually. If you notice, the original CDJ-1000 Platter, it's a plain, simple black platter. It's the first of its kind, so it was very appealing when it first came out. It was, everybody was just like, wow, never seen anything like this before. And, they decided to, again, add a little bit highlight to it, which they added the silver lining along, which you'll also find in the MK2, which kind of just creates a nice little accent to the Platter. The unique thing about the Platter function on these players was the fact that they took out the lag time in the audio when you are using the Platter. And by that I mean that, say if you're searching through the next track, you're playing a song and you decide you want to go to the next track, and then by grabbing the audio you would get that lag time. And here I'll show you how. So say if my track is playing, now I want to go to the next track and just instantly manipulate that track. Notice how there's that lag time. It started to break. It had to take a while. I'll show you it again. So I'm going to the next track. I'm turning the Platter, but you see the clock marker is not responding to it. There it is. Now, watch this over here. Say my track is playing. Alright, I want to mix into the next song on the next track after this. Instant reaction right there. I thought that was a great improvement, because now it really functions like a digital turntable, as in comparison to when you're taking the record out of the platter, and you just drop the needle right on the record, and you can just instantly manipulate the audio once it's played.
Thing drinking is
very, very good improvement. Also, the same improvement lies within the hot starts as well. So say I have my hot start set right here. There you go. See, it couldn't. Now over here, let's talk about the pitch slider. Now, the Mark 1 has 6, plus minus 6, plus minus 10, plus minus 16, and plus minus 24% pitch. So that way I have more pitch to work with. Let's say if I'm mixing songs at 108 BPMs and I need to get to a song about 122 BPMs. Now over here, they took out the plus minus 24% pitch and added plus minus 100% pitch, or as you can see here, it says wide. The question is, why would you need a pitch control of plus and minus 100% pitch? Couple reasons. Number one, necessarily you don't really need it when you're mixing, unless maybe you're mixing a song that you're playing a song that is about 87 BPMs, and then you want to mix it to something that's 105 BPMs, and so maybe the 100% pitch gives you that room. But one thing you got to understand is when you're at plus minus 100% pitch, now all of a sudden that pitch slider becomes really ultra sensitive, so you have to be careful how you set the pitch slider. So say if I'm at wide, the slightest movement up can bump it up about 20%. So you really have to be precise as to where you're setting your pitch. So that's cool. And also another good thing about having plus minus 100% pitch, they're really good for tricks. Say if you want to create a dramatic break, transition before you go into the next song. So you can't do that with any other player that doesn't have plus minus 100%. Or if you just want to escalate to a climactic point, now back to the Jogwheel. If you notice this little knob right here, it says Jog Adjust. Basically adjusts the torque, so to speak, of the platter. So you can either have as heavy of a torque as you want, for just DJs who are just serious mixers, who are just, straight into just mixing, and lighten it as much as you want by turning this the knob all the way to the left, and get the platter as loose as you want. Basically, this is ideal for turntablists, scratch DJs, or whatnot. So if you're doing that really quick backspin, you're going back between two of the same tracks, just makes it a little bit easier. Now, if you just keep it in the middle here, where it says between light and heavy, that basically keeps that its default setting. Basically the same setting you would get if you were using the MK2. Other than that, it's pretty much virtually the same player. Everything is the same thing. They just added a little bit of improvement. They took out certain things, and they just added something a little bit better. Well, that wraps it up for this segment of Practice and Enjoy. Again, my name is DJ Flip, so just keep doing your thing out there, all you DJs, and we'll see you in the next one. So, practice and enjoy.